We're approaching Kashyyyk, sir.
Very good. Very good.
Hello, everybody. Hello there. Welcome to the PRAXCAST podcast. I am your host for right now until Angel gets back. Episode 7, I believe, of Ahsoka has just aired. Our podcast, episode 6, had just done its thing today, I guess, because we don't have a schedule for any of that shit. But welcome to the PRAXCAST cast. We're talking about episode 7 of Ahsoka. I hope you all are doing very wonderful. What are our thoughts so far? We get Ezra. We get a lot of shit today.
We're cooking.
We get an unexpected C-3PO cameo in the first couple
Oh,
of
yes.
minutes.
We get hologram Anakin Skywalker.
Ooh, yes.
Which was very nice.
Everything he said in the trailer, he said there.
Yeah. I am out of water. Jesus Christ, I'm not prepared for this.
Hold on, we get the most important thing, which is more Gyat.
More Gyat.
Star Wars. A Gyat story.
Gyat story.
You get a Gyat. You get a Gyat. You get a Gyat.
Everybody
not
gets
a
a
lot
Gyat.
of crazy stuff happened this episode.
No.
Yeah,
You know?
for
Yeah.
the episode right before the finale is pretty tamed, which is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the penultimate episode, and like not a lot of shit happened, so I guess they're saving all the
No.
juicy bits for next Tuesday.
I'm
Right.
guessing
I'm
this
guessing.
episode. Sorry, I'm guessing this next episode's going to be like an hour and a half long. Or so.
It
I
better
hope
be.
so.
This next
Well-
episode better be its own like movie or something like that,
Pretty
or else I
much.
will be very not satisfied.
Yeah.
Because of
Blame
how
the
this
Filoni
episode ran,
trilogy.
because of how
Legit.
this episode ran, I have a feeling that there might be a season 2. Like,
I have
just
I
because-
have had this inkling of a feeling of that as well.
yeah, like nothing's big is happening right now. Obviously, something big will happen next episode because it's the finale. But I have a feeling like there's going to be a season 2. Something bigger, better is going to leave us off on a cliffhanger.
And season 2 is probably just going to be them fighting Thrawn, because there's no way that they're going to kill off like
Oh,
Thrawn
man.
or Morgan, or like have them get
In one
defeated.
episode.
No, yeah, that's
in one
interesting.
episode.
'Cause
And
the-
the finale of all things.
Yeah,
well, because
exactly.
I've
They're
been
not
like,
gonna do that.
there's no way they're gonna jump from this Thrawn just coming back to the movie where
Him just
I'm
dying.
assuming is gonna him dying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so there's got to be something in between now and this big movie that gives us a little a little bit more of Thrawn, you know. And so I never really thought of it being in a season 2, because all the season 2s are a big question mark right now. Not even just because of the writers, just the writer's strike, just because of the state of Star Wars. So I mean, that it's interesting, you know,
Yeah.
like Ahsoka, like season 2 could just be this all-out like war between the New Republic and Thrawn.
It links
Right.
it quite nicely too, actually. Like, with Thrawn being so up in the air, it's the same with Balin as well. With the way Balin ended in that kind of episode, all we know is that he's on a horse, or not even on a horse or a wolf anymore. He's kind of just stranded in the middle of nowhere with no plan, no action, and no contact with anybody. So that's up in the air as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see the way they try and tally it all up and bring it all back together again after kind of just separating everything.
He's
Like,
not a
we've got to
wolf.
this point where
He's got
I
himself a
imagine
howler.
that season it's a howler. Well, I imagine season 2 of Ahsoka is gonna feel pretty empty without I believe his name is Ray Stevenson, the guy who plays as
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna feel really empty because we're losing a very major villain in the Star Wars universe, or I guess
Not
like
just
an
a major
anti-hero.
villain, but like an insanely good actor. Like,
Yeah.
is
He's
acting
been
in
the
it.
highlight of the show so far for me.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
But
Other
then
than
Intensity,
like-
intensity throughout the whole show.
And
Spot
Mars.
on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
but well,
Yeah, aside
as
from
we
Hayden
lose
and
Ray
Lars,
Stevenson.
he's like, aside from Hayden and Lars this season, like he's probably the best part of the show.
Yeah.
Like, and it does. I was bringing this up to you, I think, Corvus, maybe in week 3 of this series. It really felt like they were trying to outshine Ahsoka in her own show. until like episode 4 and episode 5 really had a profound effect on her character. And we saw how she. Yeah.
I was gonna say that Balin has been carrying the show since the very early series.
Yeah.
Like episode
Like
1.
The very first episode.
It didn't become her show till episode 5, really. And even so, it's still balancing the Rebels season 5 aspect of the whole thing.
Now, speaking of Balin, what do you guys think he's doing? Like, what was that? What's his plan? I don't know.
Well, he's obviously going to go back. He's obviously going to go back to Thrawn. That's like the main thing. Yeah, he's going back to Thrawn.
He's going to betray Thrawn.
I don't think so.
He's going to get killed, though.
I think we kind of got an inkling into what he's going to be doing in a past episode. He had a force. He had a moment in the Force where he kind of sensed this evil presence or this other feeling. I think it was last episode he mentioned it, and we slightly discussed it. I feel like he's going to go on his own path, and they're going to be chasing after Balin, and Thrawn's going to be more of. I think there's more of a chance of Thrawn escaping than there is a chance of us going into Thrawn, or the two get split up. So the group gets split up, and maybe Sabine and Ezra go after Thrawn, and Ahsoka goes after Balin. I think there's a split going to happen at some point here. I don't know what Balin's plan is. I feel like the group's gonna split up.
Yeah. Well, and you know how Morgan, was like, let's just go full guns blazing and wipe them all out right now while we have them, and he's like, no, we have the element of time, which I want it to stay on my side. So right now, the New Republic isn't believing he's coming back conveniently. You know, they're just like they're really shutting it down. And also, you know, Xiono was that guy from Resistance. He's the main character's dad, and he dies on Hosnian Prime when Starkiller Base blows it up. So, and at first I was like, okay, so that like kind of debunks him being a traitor, but I'm like, the Death Star killed its own people, a lot of its own people, you know? I just thought about that earlier, and I was like, okay, so Thrawn right now is not interested in chasing defeating any of them or chasing them down, because if he doesn't act quickly, he's going to be on the run once the Republic back at home in the Milky Way or whatever figures out that he's actually coming back, because Xiono and whoever's actually a traitor, they can only keep the rest of the Republic at bay. So Thrawn is like going to be booking it back to jump to the offensive. So I think you guys are right what you were saying about Coruscant. I'll let you guys like go into that if you want, because we haven't really talked about that on the recording yet.
He does not give the slightest shit about Ezra or Sabine. He wants them dead, sure, but he's more focused on getting back to the Star Wars galaxy so he can try and assemble some military force and try to take Coruscant.
Yeah, he's in a very fragile state. He has to get the jump on them before they get the jump on him, basically.
Yeah, and he already has like 3 Jedi coming after him.
Which is why I think he doesn't expend so many resources looking for Ezra. Because Ezra, you know, the Force has always been an elusive thing to Thrawn. It's always been something that's always going to beat him. And so he can't really risk, like, he's heir to the Empire, of course.
He knows how unpredictable it is. Yeah.
Which goes into another thing with him learning that Anakin was Ahsoka's master.
Yeah, he was
totally, completely changing his strategy. How he's dealing with the scenario.
So can we talk about his facial expression?
You're trying to tell me that Ahsoka Tano was the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, and he's like, and Enoch's like, yeah, and he's like, okay, well that changes just about everything. Okay, we need to book it now. This is bad.
We need to make sure we're one step ahead of her, because if she's anything like her master, she will be just as erratic and unpredictable as he was. Because I knew the guy.
You just brought me back to last podcast episode. There was a part where we were kind of like talking about how his clothes are a little stained now and he's put on some weight. And I remember Opie saying, these are my last pair of pants. So now it's like I apply that to, you're telling me that this is the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker, General Anakin Skywalker, and he turns to Enoch and he's like, "This was my last pair of pants, wasn't it?"
This,
What shade of
Like,
brown
I-
are they?
like, I can
How
just imagine him being like, Enoch, with these.
Pants, please.
Then he just looks over to
Your
the Night
pants,
Mothers and
please.
he's like, "Hey, I need your Night Sister magic again. I just shit my pants."
And
I require a pair
once
of
again
pants.
require the help.
Now, the real question that I have, what color is a what color does a chiss shit? That is my question.
Orange.
Is it brown? Is it orange? Is it like a blue? Is it like a luminescent green? I have no
Never thought
fucking
of that.
idea. We will never
Like
know.
his eyes.
This is a deep lore topic I was not expecting to get into.
I
Lord
was
of
not
the
prepared for this.
Ascendancy shit.
Let's ask Dave Filoni at the next Star Wars celebration.
Oh, we
Yes.
will. We will.
He'll know. He'll know.
You have to know.
PRAXCAST, the headcanon episode.
No. Look, if we really want to find out what color a chiss shits, we're gonna have to ask Zahn. Tim Zahn, I think his name is.
Yeah, he'll know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask him. He's the guy. He's the literal author of Heir to the Empire. He'll know.
He's Thrawn's daddy.
If I had my way, if I had my way,
It better be a luminescent green, or else I will be extremely upset.
why specifically luminescent green?
Because it's funny.
You got
Because
Thrawn,
I just
like,
want to see.
shits
I
out
just want
here.
to. I just want to see Thrawn stand up from a toilet and the toilet be glowing green. That's all I want. That's all I want.
I'm down for
But I
that.
can't
I'm
get what I
down for
want
that.
because Kathleen Kennedy won't fucking answer my emails. You ask one person what color a chiss shits, and suddenly you're banned from Disney World for life. God damn.
Stop
just-
emailing. That's not
I'm
dress.
disturbed by her email.
Who is this guy, Opie? Get this guy out of my emails.
She's about to have
Anyway.
Hillary Clinton
Oh, yeah.
email link.
Did nobody
They're
ever-
all-
By the way, did nobody suspect C-3PO just coming into the picture out of random butt fuck nowhere?
Yeah, that was totally random.
It was epic though.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it was.
I've always liked C-3PO.
Choppers hold me
Well,
back,
yeah,
bro
C-3PO.
moment.
I
Oh
was about
yeah.
to say, as well as
Yeah,
that,
they
we
were
got
being
the Leia
weird,
reference.
Are we to take
prejudice-
this information from a droid?
They were
I can
doing
just imagine,
prejudice
I can just
stuff
imagine
against droids.
C-3PO being like, "Bitch, the fuck you just say?"
Okay, yeah, that was kind of
Yeah.
like because we've been refreshing our minds of just a lot of things with the sequels that just make no sense, like, you know. So that was kind of like weird. It was like, what are we supposed to take information from a droid? It's like, yeah, a droid. That's like one of their primary fucking
That's kinda
functions.
why
You
we're
idiots.
alive.
Job.
Like, this is literally the fucking protocol droid of Leia motherfucking Organa.
He is
I
he is
imagine-
there to
yes.
convey information. That is why she is not standing in front of you. You.
And also because Carrie Fisher is dead. We can't do that. Like,
Well, I
unfortunately-
think that-
rest in peace, Carrie Fisher.
I think that does kind of confirm that he might, or at least reinforce the idea that he's probably working for Thrawn, because that was like a last-ditch effort right there. Like, oh wait, are we supposed to take information from a droid?
Yeah.
You
Oh my
know,
God.
that
Yes,
he's
yeah.
desperate.
There
Very
is
desperate.
nothing very subtle about that at all. He like, because like, are we supposed to take information from a droid and accept it as fact? It's like, bitch, do you know how many droids there are in the Star Wars galaxy?
C-3PO.
that just
Not to
do
mention one
random
of them
shit.
held. Not to mention one of them held the literal blueprints for the Death Star that would have ended us all. We wouldn't
Yeah,
be here if it wasn't for a droid.
Oh, legit.
And he was like the accompaniment of that fucking droid, and he also saved like millions of people, probably.
I can
I
just
think it was
imagine.
just
Yeah.
desperation.
He was pretty much a war hero in his own right.
I can just imagine C-3PO walking away from that room, being like, "Bitch, I speak 13 million languages."
I can speak 13 million languages, and I can come up with a curse for each and every one of them.
Oh,
I can come up with a way to
goodness.
insult
Yeah,
him
like,
in
this
every
dude-
single language.
Yeah, but this dude obviously isn't a fucking like imperial spy or anything like that. There's no fucking way.
No.
Like,
No. I think
No,
he's all.
no
I
way
think
at all.
Mon Mothma has a bigger chance of being an Imperial spy at this point. Like,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Really?
Who would be a greater imperial spy than the literal leader of the fucking Rebel Alliance?
bro, imagine.
or the Republic.
Or,
Yeah.
But this again,
or the
this,
New
Not
Republic,
for
right?
me.
this goes back to again, like Thrawn is. I mean, I remember it was mentioned this a while ago. Thrawn is like clearly paranoid about something. Like whether it's like I remember Angel mentioned it being Bendu's warning about his end being inevitable. This could easily have trickled down into the people working for him. Like his paranoia and his fear, in a sense, as much as he is a very calm individual, if he's rushed in a sense, people will take note of that, especially those who have worked with him for a while. Do we
Because
think
that's what
he
Josh
is?
and I have been, because in the novel, like we keep mentioning that in Heir to the Empire, or well, it's by the time of the Last Command book, the third book of the trilogy.
Right.
His own people turn against him. His own mercenary turns against him, and
Yeah, Rogue.
pretty much creates an uprising on the Chimera. So at this point, anything could happen. Thrawn has dealt with insubordinates before.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily to the level of traitorous, although he's had a lot of incompetent underlings before, like Governor Price,
Constantine.
there was Constantine. Yes, yeah, he was especially hard-headed.
You know-
You could list off.
Alice
You
that
could
is
list
a
off.
spy.
So you could list off
Yeah.
every single one of his subordinates in Rebels, and they're pretty much in.
Yeah, and speaking of, you brought up
Well,
the
here's-
Chimera, and that reminds me of something. So we're kind of talking about, like, you know, since the episode, we're like, what is Thrawn's next move? Like, what is his move going to be once he gets out of there and into the other galaxy? Well, the Chimera, okay, it was still flying, so we have that. We don't know how the hyperdrive's doing. The main engines seem to be like just completely fucked. The four small ones were. So my guess is that he's going to go to whatever kind of place the Remnant has for, like, where he can go get the Chimera fixed, you know? He's gonna have the Eye of
I hope he
Sion take
meets up
him.
with Pelion.
Yes, I want to see him in Pelion before the end. I think that'll happen. I think that's
That would
like,
be mad.
yeah.
Obviously, like, they're going to be using the massive hyperspace ring to dock the Chimera onto there so they can just book it to the other galaxy.
Right.
But the main issue is, like, where exactly can they go to fix up the Chimera to make it battle ready for the eventual war that the Imperial Remnant's going to have with the New Republic?
I was about to say, we don't know if Thrawn knows about the fact that the Empire had fallen, do we? Like, it might have been explained to
they've
him. Like,
updated him. They've pretty much updated him on everything.
Yeah, he knows
right,
that the
I
Empire has
remember
fallen,
that.
and he knows that he's the only one who can really bring them all together
But
because he was like
realistically,
the
with that
highest.
knowledge, he's probably had to change plans. So it might have been his original plan was he'll probably just go to, like, I can't remember the planet now actually, but he would have just gone to a place anywhere that's under the Empire's control. Whereas now he has to take a giant fucking ship. Sorry for my language. To a random space yard that's not under Rebel control now. That's
And then
really-
you also have to think, like, imagine how his plan would have gone down. Like, and then the Emperor is like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna glass every planet with, like, Project, what was it? I
Cinder?
can't remember the name. Project Cinder, to
Operation
destroy
Cinder.
all the Imperial worlds that were loyal to him. So now Thrawn is just like, okay, so all of the main Imperial worlds that were extremely loyal to Palpatine or to the Emperor are now just gone. Mainly.
You know, one thing I really can't wait for is an interaction between Thrawn and okay, I get the Huxes mixed up. So Brendel is the father. He's like supposedly this awful dude, and I can't wait to just like Thrawn just give him this like you're just like a heathen look, you know, or this. I can't wait to see him kind of just putting these like these
plastic
squabbling
side-eye.
Shadow Council members in their place, you know, because then Pelian's gonna step over to his side, and it's like I'm with him, and they're all like, "Fuck you, bro."
Bro is
Piece
gonna
of
give.
shit.
Bro's gonna give the most bombastic side eye as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
But yeah, the problem though is like all of the Shadow Empire like leaders they're going to fall to Thrawn's rule anyway, because you know that's the only way or the only opportunity they have to survive.
Everyone that's from the Empire, from the know
The
about
remnant.
Thrawn's brilliance because of how famous he was within the Empire. This guy wasn't
Yeah.
an unknown person. But the moment
Yeah, he was like literally the Grand Admiral of the
Exactly.
Empire, like one of
Exactly.
only 10.
Yeah, he's gonna get a military force, and even like I imagine when he makes it back to the main galaxy, there might already be a team of Star Destroyers ready for him.
Possibly.
Like at this point, yeah, like I don't know.
Well, because
We'll
the
see.
7th Fleet that he was in command of, they safely got. See, the other thing is weird is they. I went back to the Rebels finale, and not only does it was Rex was like, you know, was that the plan? Cause we're all clear up here. He was in space, and then Pelion, or one of the captains of one of the, I think it was one of the other Star Destroyers, maybe of Thrawn's 7th Fleet. They were like, you know, we're all clear too. So like their ships got taken. The Imperial
for sure.
officer that calls
Yeah.
into Thrawn says that all of our ships are gone. So I don't think I brought this up on the recording yet. But like I'm like, where we got to Peridia, we found Thrawn. It's just the Chimera and who was on board of the Chimera. Where are the other ships? I'm gonna be pissed though
I
if
just
it's
imagine.
like 4 out of 7 of it's like if it's some shit where it's like 6 out of 7 of them just crashed into a asteroid and one of them got away. Oh, that's gonna be
From the
disappointing.
Purgle.
Yeah.
I just imagine like all of the Imperial class Star Destroyers just got abducted by Purgles and just got yeeted all the way through the universe.
Right.
That's funny. We
and
have a
all
unit
of
missing.
them just fucking died. That's the only explanation.
Huh, that's funny. We have an entire unit missing. Oh. Space whales? Yeah.
Space whales.
That's what you're
They're all
telling me?
dead. All of them died by space whales.
Every
Just
single
imagine
one
the
of them.
story coming back. Every
Okay,
single
one-
one of
I got really you know, worried when you know the mouth started opening up and you started seeing those bombs, and but one thing that made me happy was you didn't see any of the Purgles die. They were just like deuces.
Yeah.
And
Me too. Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, I didn't sign up for military grade mines. I'm fucking out of here.
Thanks, Ahsoka.
I was so glad none of them died. I was like, I don't want to see them die in slow motion, and it's sad. Like, come on.
Space whales.
Now, here's the thing that we were talking about like, right before we started this. Do you think Senator Ziono is like a Thrawn insider or some sort of Imperial insider to the fact that... Now, I will say that some of the things that he was saying kind of made sense in the sense of,
Mhm.
like, you know, obviously there really is no evidence other than Leia covering for Hera of clearing the mission to Peridia or to Cetos. But he is kind of valid in the fact that he, you know, there's pretty much little to no evidence, and they're going kind of off of like personal feelings, and I get that. I totally get that. I still hate the guy's guts though, and the way that he defends like this whole, oh hello Joshua, we're back. The way he defends, like, he's awfully jumpy whenever Thrawn is mentioned.
He's
And
very.
I wonder, is he really that ignorant to
Well,
everything happening
I think
around
that's
them?
the point, because
Is he
like
a fanboy?
like when I think about it, I'm like the Republic is such in a naive state somehow when you literally had Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, and I'm sure there's a handful of other senators that are still around from the Clone Wars era that know like that this government situation is a bad idea. So that's what kind of gets me. But honestly, I don't think that Xiono, because they're so just like they're either just incompetent and kind of gullible,
True.
or they're an insider. I don't think that Xiono is necessarily close to Thrawn, but you know, what's his name?
ignorance will fuel
Lathan, not
the
Lathan.
movement.
What's his name? Luthen Rail. He had that guy
Amanda.
Lonnie that was a part of the ISB. So it's like there's the Shadow Council. There was Gideon, who was kind of doing his own thing and was on his own conquest for power. You know, he didn't care about their unified plan to bring back Thrawn. But even those guys, like I just think that there is like a plan, like the Imperials are coordinated to like do one thing, but I honestly think that these aren't really like, I think that when Thrawn comes in, well, obviously Xiono doesn't die until Force Awakens, but I just think that they're not, you know, it's they've got it so wrapped around it's the perfect situation for the Imperial Remnant, because the Republic is just not paying attention.
I did some research on him in Resistance, and I looked on his character. He is quite an arrogant character according to what I've seen.
Mhm.
So it could just be his natural
Even his own
arrogance.
kid doesn't like him, so
Yeah, exactly. So it could just be his own arrogance about the situation. Like, look at us, we defeated the Empire, we're ahead of everything, we defeated them all. It could
Like,
just be he's in over his head and he is being thick and stupid. But
well.
but, like,
if it isn't the
that's my thing,
consequences of
because
hubris.
why would you actively deny, like, okay, excluding the idea that he might be an Imperial defector or he might be like a spy for the Empire, why would you actively ignore the possibility that one of the most like brilliant tactical minds of the Empire, an alien in the Empire who rose to the rank of Grand Admiral, why would you like just deny that being a possibility that Thrawn
Arrogance.
would come back?
as I just said a moment ago, the arrogance.
How much of a douchey, arrogant asshole do you have to be like, Thrawn?
How much of a
No,
douche
we
do you
don't have to
be for
worry
your
about
dad to hate
Thrawn.
you, for your son to hate you? Like you have to be a pretty big douchebag for your own son to hate you. So this guy
Kind of
clearly
looks like one too. He has a very
Exactly.
punchable face.
he looks and
Yeah.
acts like one. So it's not like it's not improbable.
Right.
I think the theory goes both ways, to be honest. I think it's more likely that he's a spy, but I also get the feeling that it could just be his blind arrogance. Because we see in other...
There's a
Ignorance probably
there's
will
a difference
feed into
between-
the greater.
There's a difference between blind arrogance and absolute ignorance. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he might be arrogant and way over his head, but there's no reason to be ignorant of the possibility that Thrawn might come back, because nobody found a body. Thrawn is like an extremely tactical Grand Admiral,
The genius.
and he's an absolute tactical genius. So if anybody could find a way to travel back to the Star Wars universe to try and take over and try to set up their own like empire or pseudo empire, it would be Thrawn.
It's like it's just like calling something fake news when it's clearly happening in front of you. It's so
Well,
weird.
that's
Yeah.
why Hera, who is a very she's not as tactically advanced as Thrawn, but somebody who is a general, and I'd probably say General Akbar probably feels the same if he could get a word out. By the way, anybody with any
He would speak.
sort of tactical knowledge who can understand and look at the situation, not a politician who is biased towards their own beliefs, would be able to analyze a situation better. Which is why I say it might not be ignorance, it might be more arrogance than anything else, because he's not able to look at it at a certain way because of his arrogant side of things. It might be a bit of both, actually, looking at it. It might be
Because he's never touched the front lines of a military operation.
exactly. So how
He
would
doesn't
he
know what it's like.
the threat of this Thrawn, who just seems to be this. Oh, he has a reputation for being very
Now,
tactically
I
strong.
wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. Now that we got more screen time with Ezra, what do you guys think about him? Like the actor himself.
All right, Space Moses. I absolutely love it. Like,
No. Space
I love
Jesus.
Space
Ezra-
Moses. I
you mean
love
Ezra
lore.
the
I
Baptist?
absolutely love lore accurate Space Jesus. It's great.
Space Jesus is amazing.
Yeah, the
I think
actor
the
for
actor
Ezra
did
is
a
really
great
good, and I
job.
really like his quirky ass personality, where he's like, "Whoa, you want to take us as prisoners? Come on, you know you want to take us as prisoners.
You do.
Come on, come
Come on,
on.
you know you really want to just have a conversation with us.
That
Let's
was
just
a rebel
talk.
moment.
Let's just talk.
Let's just drink some tea. You can take me to Thrawn. Maybe I could get you
That-
abducted by the space whales
nice.
again. It'll be great."
That
think
there
Iman
felt
was
like
doing-
a rebel. It felt like
It
a
was very
rebel's moment. It was in character, you know. That was really nice to see.
Yeah, I
I
like
think
it.
his character is fine. The problem I've got, to be honest, is the way they've made out. It's my personal opinion. I'm quite biased towards the rebel characters as it is, but they made him out to be a lot weaker than I think he should be. In the sense of, you've got Shin, who we don't know too much about, but we know that Sabine was able to kind of handle her to a point. And Sabine hasn't had much training. Ezra's had years, as well as this 9-year gap worth of Force training, pretty much. So I would have liked to at least seen her at least knocked out, not the other way round, where Shin puts Ezra to the floor and knocks him out for a second. That's
Well,
kind
here's
of
the thing about that.
I'm
Like,
at.
there's a difference
My-
between being on your own for 10 years and actually having somebody to train you in the Force.
Look, might I
Yeah, I
add
agree.
that? Might I add to the Space Moses point that Aman Esfandi, Ezra's actor, tweeted the other day, "Let my people go." It's all
It's
connected.
wonderful. I
It's all
love that.
connected.
No.
Bring up that tweet. I want to see that tweet. That's just
Yeah, hold on.
beautiful.
Bro, it is Space Jesus.
You know, I don't
Oh
know.
no, he's lore accurate Space Moses. What the fuck?
I just had this
Accurate
thought,
space.
but what if Ezra, like, is there any possibility you guys think that Ezra's like hesitant to just, go, full
Let loose.
full force because he's afraid of waking something up on that planet? I still think that's a possibility, but I don't know.
I
They're
think
kinda
Ezra
up
the
and out of there.
character. I think Ezra's a character that is used to. We got a lot of character development in it with him. That kind of lined him up to be this character that needed people around him, and that then kind of guided him to a sense of need for people. When you then taken out of that environment, he then has to learn to be by himself and learn to deal with his own thoughts a lot. So I feel like he would have had to tackle those issues and those demons at that point.
Oh, that is absolutely
It is
lovely. I like that.
In
That
the
is
edit,
wonderful.
They made a
Okay.
Yeah.
Prince of Egypt poster of
Oh my
Ezra.
gosh.
Oh my!
That is wonderful. I
Underrated
love that
movie.
so much.
Underrated
um,
movie.
Iman said, "Let my people go."
You'll
Iman,
have
you're
to
doing a
send me
great job.
that so I can put it in
Yeah, I have to
or
send
we
you.
can, or you, so
That's gonna be my
First of all,
profile
I don't,
for the week.
I don't think of Senator Ziono as people.
my.
It's scary.
But like, as for Ezra being afraid to use his full Force potential because he might
This is
awaken something in the
wonderful.
planet, I don't actually think I've seen actual evidence to support the idea that there might be some hidden Force demon or Abeloth or anything like that inside
Yeah.
of this planet.
For there
Yeah,
being
it has a lot of fucking Night Sister motherfuckery having to do with it because it's like literally their homeworld. But I don't
Yeah.
really
I'm
really
just like-
see anything that could do that.
I'm just like, what is
Yeah.
Balin after? Is he maybe he's after like awakening more dead to start like a following or something. I don't know. It's just like
Well,
That's not what he wants.
when he
Kind of
leaves
implied.
Shin, he says to her, go take your place in the Empire, meaning Thrawn's, coming Empire, is what he wants for her to do. And then he says that his path lies in another direction. So I'm starting to because initially I thought he was going to build his own like Jedi Order, but not Jedi,
Mhm.
of course, but like his own
Yeah, like
order.
anti-Jedi
But now I'm
order.
thinking he's after something completely different. It's definitely power related,
Yeah.
whatever he's looking for.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you look at the intensity he fights with, he seems to be a guy that, for that sort of fighting style, craves power in a sense, because he
Mhm.
must do. Otherwise, where's this intensity? He trained under, or is rumored to have trained Plo Koon, and that's not his sort of style. He's a very calm and relaxed fighter. But for this intensity to come out, it must mean he has this crave and lust for a level of power. But I think that definitely has something to do with it. But I don't know. I think we've been left on such a. We got taken to a point where we knew what was going on and we could kind of guess what was happening without guessing, and now we're left in this point of we're kind of out of the loop again with a lot
Yeah.
of things.
Well, and this could mean nothing, obviously, but you know, there was like 2 or 3. I mean, the first 2 episodes was all about like a master and apprentice, like they're, you know, Sabine and Ahsoka. Then it was like the master and apprentice relationship between her and Anakin, and that's like been a huge theme this entire show. But Balin, as much as he talks about the Jedi Order and how much he understands it and how much he knows it needs to change, he has not once mentioned his master, and I'm like, that's got to be on purpose. They're not touching that at all for a reason. But then again, but he's such this intriguing character that says all these things and does all these interesting things, has all these amazing shots and lines. So I'm like, it just tells me there's got to be a reason he's just avoiding that one specific thing. And obviously, like,
telling you.
it may not be Plo Koon, but it may be somebody big, you know.
I'm telling you, there's so much information that they yet to
Yeah.
give us that there has to be a season 2. I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now.
Season
I really
2
think
of
that's
Ahsoka
going to happen.
it's more likely to me than a season 2 of Kenobi.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How about instead of a season 2 of Ahsoka, they talked about the kind of Infinity War / like Endgame thing where they get everything joined together. It might be called something different to Ahsoka. But they might all come together to fight this Thrawn
Yeah.
threat.
I think it might be too early to release a Avengers style movie.
I
where, like,
agree.
Mando
Yeah.
and Luke and Ahsoka come in.
I
feel like
agree,
it's a
but I feel
little
like that's
too early.
still something. There's still a
'Cause I think-
possibility.
I think in Ahsoka episode 2, what they should do is focus on Ahsoka and Luke and Anakin, like that trio, and then maybe the climax of season 2 is some sort of dealing with Thrawn, coming back to, of course, to the galaxy to take back the Empire and maybe take back like Coruscant or something like Angel was talking about earlier. Who knows?
Yeah, I was talking with
That's gonna be
with
crazy.
Azure earlier today, and he brought up a good point. How we still have like 30 years, like between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. This could
Big
be
time.
like the big war, like, and we can still see young Luke. Like a lot of things could happen, so we have time to put in more shows, put in
Yeah.
more whatever, and like create this Avengers Endgame kind of
Just imagine, like, we have anywhere between, like, at the most, about 5 years, if not between 10 years of material that we can go through to eventually make a Star Wars Avengers kind of scenario where we pack everybody into one solid movie, like Luke, Ezra, Ahsoka, Mando, all these other crazy ass people, just pack them all into one movie. We have so many opportunities to make that happen, but we still have like a lot of years left to go through all that.
Yeah.
Bro, listen, man. If there's anything I want to happen by the end of this series or sometime in the near future, I need Ezra to see little Jason Sindhu.
Oh, man,
Oh
Jason.
God!
I need Jason to meet his uncle, man.
I might
to see
cry.
him.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
that connected to Rebels. I might cry.
Imagine Ezra actually teaching Jason how to use the
I
Force.
said
It's going
it.
to happen. It's going to happen.
It's
Yeah.
like poetry. It fucking rhymes, bitch.
Well,
I said this to my
It-
girlfriend. Me and my
there's just
girlfriend were
no way
watching
it
the
doesn't
episode.
happen.
My girlfriend watching the episode, and I was like, "It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm certain. I will bet whatever needs to be bet on happening for this to happen. I'll do whatever it needs to be done. It must happen."
so okay,
I will
one
do
one thing I've
whatever you ask.
one thing that I kind of just thought about, yeah, so I kind of felt like Ahsoka had more of a reaction to seeing Ezra than Sabine did, which I'm like, when I saw, and I'm not like against it, or like I'm not like, oh, this is bad writing, not like that. But
Yeah.
okay, like Ezra did save her, like literally bring Ahsoka back from the dead, or saved her life. I don't know which one it is anymore, but
Complicated.
I don't know whether she was dead and he brought her back, or time just went by so slowly on Malachor he was able just to stop it. But so like I kind of was like, I don't want to say this, but I feel like Ahsoka and Ezra haven't really had a lot of interactions compared to Sabine and him
I might have to correct you on that.
in the show. I mean, if
Rebels.
there's books, then I don't
Well,
know.
in Rebels, not
Yeah.
no, it's not books. Well, it is, but it's not. You guys know that stupid Forces of Destiny cartoon?
Yeah.
That like,
No.
it's,
Oh, the one with
I
the
remember.
It's pretty
cartoon,
much-
like, blue
it's pretty much
thing.
about the female characters of
Yeah.
Star Wars, right?
But they go through everything: Rebels, the
Yeah, yeah.
movies, Rogue One,
Yeah.
Solo.
So there's actually, and all of it's canon. All of it is happening.
Yeah.
And there's these scenes of Ahsoka training Ezra in lightsaber combat, and she teaches him how to like survive without the lightsaber. So that kind of
Damn.
leads
Okay.
in- it kind of leads into like how he fights without it now. Where I mean, obviously we saw it in the Rebels finale when he's pretty much storming the Chimera by himself, leaving the lightsaber behind, folding pretty much every stormtrooper and officer in sight, and wrapping up Thrawn and Purgle tendrils.
Mm-hmm.
You've also
So
got,
seeing him,
Right, you've also got two different types of people. You've got two different love languages, which is why, like, if you look at the way that Ahsoka's a very much a free spirit, a loving character, and she always has been. So she is going to be
Sabine
more
and Ezra will
open.
tease each other, and
Exactly,
that's
exactly.
exactly what they did right away.
Straight away.
she's one of his masters. So
Yeah,
True.
and then you've
It's,
got the like twin sister style thing with Sabine. It's just a different connection with a different love language.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna feel different. It's gonna have the same meaning or more meaning, either way.
Well,
Yeah.
and I liked
Two
that.
different characters.
I liked I did like the body language though. Like she was, maybe it's like the makeup and like Rosario's just like a more intense actor, but like I did like the body language after they hugged and everything. She gave Ezra this look like, you've grown into this whole ass Jedi. Like, look at you. I like that.
Look at that beard.
Yeah.
Look at you, the beard. Look at how much you've grown.
Not like
It's
grown, but
seeing
you
for
know.
the first time in a decade.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
so proud of how. Yeah.
Yeah.
At
What
that yearly
His
party.
beard.
Because he was still barely not a Padawan, I
Glorious
guess. I think the last time they saw each other.
He was about 2 years into his apprenticeship. Yeah.
So
Man.
onto a different sort of topic. It's something that Josh mentioned not too long ago. But what's the plan with Shin, by the way? Is it to betray Balin? Like, is it to fight Balin in like a final battle? Is it like what? We haven't really got an answer
Yeah,
to that
where's,
yet.
where's
Well,
Shin gonna end up
think-
at the end?
So
of
since
Yeah.
you were
She's
talking,
just running for her life.
since we were talking
She said,
about,
"I'm gone."
the possibility, likelihood, I would say, of season 2. Maybe it's one. I don't want to see this necessarily. I want to see more of her in the next episode. But maybe it's one of those things where she just kind of disappears until the next season. I hope not.
Wow.
But she just kind
I
of
think
ran
Of
away.
interest.
I think what they're gonna end up doing is a redemption kind of thing, and she's gonna like sacrifice herself, and maybe Balin is the one that kills her.
Oh,
Damn.
snap.
Nah, because tell me why me and Vader had the same idea about her this episode. When Ahsoka was offering like her hand, like I can help you. Yo, I thought she was like, you know how the show's been going with the whole samurai vibe the whole time. I
Oh,
thought
yeah,
she
you
was
mentioned
literally
it.
about to commit seppuku with
Yeah.
her lightsaber, and I'm like,
I literally
please don't
last
do
night
that.
I was watching it. I was like, I literally said out loud. I was by myself. I was like, please don't kill yourself. Please don't.
Yeah,
kill
just don't. No, don't do that. Nah.
That
I was
been
like, oh,
wild.
thank God she ran away. I was like, that would be too dark for this show.
So since Ezra kind of, I wouldn't say lost to Shin, but he definitely didn't beat her. What is Ezra's power scale compared to everybody else? That's a
Weird,
Jedi?
man.
I
Can't
want
tell.
to say,
Man, that's hard.
I want to say he's like right now, he's definitely above Luke in Empire.
I'm not even gonna
Yes,
lie.
he's
This
defi-
could be.
He's
A whole
definitely above
Yeah.
Dagobah. He's definitely above Dagobah training Luke.
Yeah, I agree.
Bespin Luke.
I agree in
Not
force
quite
abilities.
Return of the Jedi
I don't
yet.
think he's anywhere near
but he
Return
has-
of the Jedi.
Well, he has to. I think he has the potential to get there. But like Luke now
Yeah.
is like way past where he was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he has. I think he has the mindset that Luke had. I just don't think he's at the ability.
He hasn't had anyone to. He hasn't had iron to sharpen his iron. you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
He's
That's-
probably
I
just
think
been
once they get
meditating the
back-
whole time.
I think once they get back, him and he and
Ahsoka?
Sabine are probably going
Yang?
to.
Oh,
Well, that's a good point about Hu Yang because he's actually never met Hu Yang. Hu Yang has so much
I had
knowledge.
that thought. I was like, he probably doesn't know who Hu Yang is at all.
Hu
I-
Yang has
How
so
could he?
much knowledge.
That's what I
Yes,
love
but
about
he
this
did get
show.
Ezra.
Is like the, you know, I was
Mhm.
saying last episode, like the scale everything is on, like there's all these little hints of these big things, but also it's all these, you know, this show does a lot of showing without telling, and it kind of frustrates me sometimes because I want to know like what's on the other side. But like it's also cool because, you know, we have like potential Rakata ties, Zepho ties, and all this Night Sister ties, but also you have the storyteller as one of the main characters, and we've never had him as one of the main characters. So it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I feel like if I was Balin, I would cry if I saw Hu Yang, because he's so fond of the stories, and he's, you know, he's retelling them, and he has no idea Hu Yang is like on his way there. Not, I don't know if they're gonna
Yeah.
see each other, but it's just interesting. You have both of these like history buffs, kind of. And that's a big theme. That's like a kind of learning from, and this is interesting too. Learning from the past, learning like history will repeat itself. What's happening right now? The Republic is not learning from its history at all. They're
Not
going
at all.
back to the
Nope.
Clone Wars Republic, the prequel
Now,
Republic.
I don't think this is gonna happen. But what if the finale ends up leaving us on a cliffhanger, revealing the using vault?
Oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. I can already see it.
No.
I've been dreading this
Because
day to day.
Listen, man, I
Imagine-
don't think they're ballsy enough to do that.
I swear to
I
God, if the
wouldn't-
Yuzang Wong actually do show up in the Star Wars universe after all of this, I am gonna lose my fucking mind.
They were
Just by
ballsy
him.
enough. Hold on, they were ballsy enough to give us Clone Wars Anakin and Clone Wars Ahsoka,
Yeah.
which hasn't been done yet.
That's
Hold
kind
it.
of a
Don't
given,
tell
That's
us.
not-
right?
That's
That's a
not
given.
ballsy. That's just more so giving the fans what we deserve.
It's a given. That's supposed to
That's
happen.
just fan
He's
When
right.
you open up,
man.
when you open up the can of worms that is the Yuzan Vaughn, you have to continue with that, or else if
Yeah.
you just ignore what you just opened, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Now,
they
we were
really.
talking
Very
earlier.
serious threat that you're talking about.
Mhm.
We were talking earlier about like the end game level threat. What if that's
Yeah.
the end game level threat? Like
It's
years
either
down the
that
line.
or the Grisk, or Thrawn himself. I don't know.
Well, the Grisk are like a canon variation of the Vong, kind of.
Yeah.
But we've never seen them in any sort of other media other than the canon
Are
Thrawn novels.
yeah, those are canon, huh? So it could be just the Grisk.
Honestly,
It's crazy.
I
man.
don't know. I prefer
So-
using Vaughn, but
I
Chris
prefer Vaughn as well.
So Azure, you keep reminding me of this, like Thrawn's death in Legends. He gets killed by Rook, and we're like, who's the Rook in this situation? 2 episodes ago, we didn't really have an idea, but now I'm like,
Morgan.
could Enoch be the Rook? Or and I also think you make a good point. I think that I don't understand really the relationship between Thrawn and the Knights
they have.
and Morgan.
Yeah.
And whenever she's like, let's
go
just
back
go
to
in
Vampire
guns
days.
blazing, and he's like, oh no, Morgan,
So, like,
this is our opportunity to
here's
pull
my
out.
idea.
I don't think they're gonna end up on the
My
same
idea-
side at the end of this.
Yeah,
He's
my
very
idea is
skeptical of
like
his
Enoch.
plans.
Enoch is way too fucking loyal to Thrawn because Enoch and all of his troops, they're all basically
True.
like, they're all subservient super soldiers, basically. But Morgan was basically an underling from back in the day in the Empire, and she was like an admirer that was wanting to be his apprentice, I guess, but that didn't pan out because he got abducted by space whales. So I think her entire idea is that she is the Rook, and she's gonna be like, dude, what the fuck? You're fucking up all my plans. Like, excuse me, you never had plans. This is all my shit. You're barely involved. You're basically a
Just reminds
spectator
me-
at this point.
That reminds me of that side eye he gave her in the last episode, where he's just like,
Big side eye.
"Did I ask you to speak?"
Do you know
All
who
I'm
I
hearing-
am?
All I'm hearing
Also-
coming out of your mouth is stupid.
Also, going back to Balin, I guarantee that the reason why we're getting nothing on Balin so far is because we might potentially get an animated series starring Balin.
Tales of the Jedi season 2. Oh my
Tales of the
God.
Jedi season
Yeah,
2?
Tales of the
Question mark?
Jedi season 2 starring Balin's skull.
Oh,
In
guys, I did,
Skull, and
I
then we
would've never
learn
thought of
who
that.
his master is. Absolutely.
bro.
Make
You
it
guys
happen, buddy.
are gold right now.
Not Plo Koon, by the way.
Obviously,
Yeah,
it would
so-
have to be a different voice actor because but it was.
Well, I
that would
mean,
still be-
it's a younger Balin skull for one, and for
Yeah,
two,
He's like
Ray
25
Stevenson.
or something.
Yeah.
So.
Bro, that'd
Yeah,
be-
he's around Anakin's age, I think, in that time.
I know Vader God was on the ending topic about
Yeah.
how the show will end, and I've been talking look, listen, and Josh was looking at me crazy, but he's kind of excited about what I said, where I think Thrawn is going to get out of there, and either he's just going to say it and we don't see it, or we're going to straight up see this. I can't wait for Thrawn to, like, they get all the cargo loaded on the Chimera, and they're like, "Set your coordinates for Coruscant." And I'm like,
Oh.
Dude, that would be-
just
that'd
go into
be such
hyperspace
a
and
mic drop
invade
moment.
Coruscant, bro. Dude, they just freaking pillage Coruscant.
They
Like,
enter
second
hyperspace, and all you see is end credits.
You get the first live action war. We get
The
the first
second
live
If,
Zach
action.
if
Singh-
that's how you end it, I can't wait. That gets me on the
Yeah.
edge of my seat.
Yup.
Something like
Absolutely.
that. Man. Oh man.
That was funny.
I don't
'cause
want to
was
seem
going
like I'm
bring up
asking
the
too
ending
much,
of the show.
but
I was
yeah.
gonna bring up: is the ending of the show going to be a New Hope, or is it going to be Empire Strikes Back? What's the feeling?
Empire Strikes
Mm.
Back. Jeez.
I
hope
imagine
it's
the
gonna be
feeling is
Strikes
going to
Back.
be Empire Strikes Back,
And I
yeah.
think it is
Because,
gonna be
like,
Strikes Back.
Okay, so season one is
Mixed
where
bag.
I imagine season one is where he gets back to the Star Wars galaxy. Season two is him collecting a fleet, and then at the end of season two, he's just gonna go like, set all coordinates to Coruscant, and then they all just go invade the fuck out of that place. Admiral Akbar is shitting himself.
It's gonna
He's
be
shitting his
SWTOR
fish
all over
tank.
again.
Yeah, he's
Empire took over.
it's a trick. He's gonna be shitting his fucking fish tank, and then all this shit's gonna go down. And then season three is going to be them collecting an entire fleet
That is
for the
true.
rebellion to then battle it out with Thrawn in the movie, along with
Well, that's
Luke
the crazy part,
and the
right? 'Cause
Mandalorian and all that shit.
like, I know Thrawn is a threat, right, or the threat, but is he going to be like the overarching guy? Because I feel like there's something
30
more that
years?
we're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
not
he
too-
is the heir.
30
He
years,
is
but-
the heir to the Empire, so he has to be. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like
Something
There
else
have-
that works.
there's something else, and then they're gonna have to like come
Well,
together to fight a common enemy.
we know what that something else is. It came out
The
in
USA
2015.
Vault!
No. Oh well, you're talking about 30 years
We don't talk
before.
about that one.
No,
Um,
that's
Talk
not
about that.
Star
Well,
Wars.
because
That's not Star Wars, everybody.
like
not Star Wars.
if Thrawn ends up dying before Force Awakens, which someone pointed out, he's like 70 years old now. I don't know how long the Chiss live. I'm assuming a long time, but I think that before he dies, he's gonna begin setting up the whoever the fuck started to bring back Palpatine. I think that's gonna be
Yeah,
one of
Chiss
the
can
things.
live up to 80 years.
Okay.
Oh, so this is like his last hurrah. He has 10 years to do this, to
Yeah.
roll a little bit.
If that's the
Crazy.
case, then yeah, this could be.
Is he really 70? Wow.
Around ish, apparently.
Because
Right,
those
it's
age,
probably also why.
Chiss
It's probably
age
also why-
63 to 79 are considered old.
He's about
probably why he's
68
got that
to
belly on him.
71 years old. Wow.
Probably why he's got that belly on him.
Oh, he's cooked.
He's that little cook. I'm just saying.
He's got to
He's
lay
gonna-
off the rations. My God.
Guys,
Can't
got
break
careful,
dance in
his
front
back-
of Dark Troopers anymore.
Can we give out? Okay, we've got to give him some time.
My
Like, how much
God.
extra food did they have on that ship? Come
Do a
on.
little
they've been doing
dance.
a lot.
Make a
What have they
little
been
love.
eating this whole time?
Get down
Actually-
Make a
tonight.
little love.
That's a
Get
random
down
question.
tonight.
What have they been eating this whole time? For how long they've been on the
Like
ship?
shitty ass expired Imperial rations and stale ass fucking cookies.
Bro. I
What
don't know.
else
That's
Imperials
literally it.
even eat? What do we even consume?
Found out there's life. There's life on this planet. A
Yeah,
hunting
just
thing.
like meat.
We
Those
do a
little
little
dog
dance.
thing.
Oh, they've been eating the wolves? Maybe.
Maybe they've been eating like those little rock people that Ezra's hanging out with. That's why he's
God.
protecting them.
Oh,
Ah.
no, do not say that, my guy. Do not tell me. they've been
Just pop open
eating-
their shells and then they look like snails in the fucking inside.
That's why Ezra's.
Fucking nasty. But
That's why
anyway,
Ezra's That's why he says.
so what exactly have we not talked about yet? We've talked about everything, I think.
There's one thing that I did want to mention. Somebody mentioned in the Discord thing there. Do we think there will be any more Anakin reveals in the show, or flashbacks,
Maybe
or scenes, or
one.
holograms,
Yeah.
or something?
Kind of thinking no.
Yeah, me too. To be honest, like
Unless we have an
think this-
hour and a half episode, I'm just not thinking
Yeah.
it's in the.
Yeah,
I
I,
don't
think
know.
this is
we'll
the
either need a long
last,
episode.
Bro, it needs to
I
be
think-
2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
does.
don't think there's gonna be one.
This has got to be a whole ass fucking movie, or else we ain't getting shit.
I do think that if it does end in maybe a hybrid way of New Hope and Empire, I do see Ahsoka finally going to meet Luke on screen, and because Filoni said the conversation has happened, but we've never seen it, so he might finally choose this moment to finally,
Tell her.
go ahead. Yeah.
Are you talking about Ahsoka
Cigarette.
finding out, or what was it?
Finding out about the
Well,
redemption.
Finding
Oh.
out that
Yeah.
he's actually like alive. Well, not alive, but like his presence is still very much in the galaxy, and he can keep his corporal form as a ghost.
That's what I'm confused
Um,
about, because she knows that now, but does she know he's redeemed?
Well, does she? Because that could have been an Anakin
Does
from
she
her
think
head.
that was just a force vision?
Because
that-
it could be the deal. It could be a deal of the whole Han Solo Rise of Skywalker thing, like that wasn't a Force ghost, that was Ben's head.
Yeah.
So it could be, but that opens another can of worms about Ahsoka just teaching herself to live instead of die, and it's just,
This is more
puts us
than
in
that.
another hole.
Yeah.
It is more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, because
it's
otherwise,
worth a lot more.
otherwise, if Ahsoka believed that was Anakin's Force ghost, she would have told Hu Yang about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she wouldn't have been questioning why they're on Mandalore. You know, he was implanting his memories and his lessons that she didn't even know about, you know? I mean, they went back to places she had been and moments she had been in, but you know, she's like, "Mandalore, why are we here?"
Yeah.
I see, okay, like I heard some leaks about this episode, which four of them came true. So I knew I didn't know it was gonna happen. Of course, a lot of them are fake, but the hologram thing. But the one thing that hasn't happened yet is the undead troopers. So I'm like, what if they just wake up? But I don't know. They seemed more real in this episode. They seemed more real,
Yeah.
probably because they were in action now, you know, and not just standing there. They were probably more CGI'd and but yeah,
Speaking of the undead troopers, one thing we didn't talk about was, could it be
Are
Night
they?
Sisters in there, or maybe the
think
Zabrak
that would be the
warriors
only
that we
cargo.
see in Jedi?
Yeah. Oh.
I think that would be the only way to do
Man.
this.
Yeah.
Sisters.
apparently that's another thing that I'm hearing is that because we pointed this out last night, there isn't like an army of them. There's as many of those caskets. There's probably a little more of those caskets from what I remember in that hologram where he was like, the cargo will be finished up, you know,
Oh yeah,
loading
83%
shortly.
and stuff. Yeah.
And so, you know, that was like the moment where he was like, okay, this is more than just their luggage, you know, which we kind of figured from episode 6. But when they were looking at it and everything, I was like, okay, there's probably about 10 more of those than there were dark troopers in the Mandalorian season 2. So maybe like 30, 40, something like that. I don't know. I maybe he's like really wrong on this. I'll have to go back and look at it. But there wasn't hundreds of them. That's my point. There wasn't even 200 of them. There was maybe at the most like 50 of them. So I'm like, they're not just, I don't think they're just his dead troopers that have died the whole time. Well I think that's kind of out the window too. That's what I thought initially. Because I totally just, it went over my head the fact that Morgan was saying, you know, I've seen the catacombs and it'll take 3 days. So I'm like, yeah, the theory that those are Zabrak warriors or something pertaining to the Night Sisters, or like their warriors, whatever this version of them is, that's a little more likely. Because it doesn't take that
Counted
many.
them on that hologram, and there's 54 of them.
Oh, damn. Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
Guess, bro.
So I think they've got to be something powerful.
Yeah, they've got to
can't
be a
be-
force. They've got to be a force.
Because
That's
this
his
is what I'm
trump card.
thinking. The night troopers that he has right now have been resurrected over and over again, I'm thinking. And they're
Yeah.
just like, they're just cannon fodder at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Which could be
They're not
why
super
that
powerful.
They're
They're
not
just kind of,
bringing,
yeah.
I love-
Could be
not
why
bringing
the
them all back for the 4th time.
That's a really
Right.
cool point, though, Josh. Like, maybe they've just been... Because has it been 7 or 10 years since Thrawn got
It's
taken?
been
9
anywhere
years.
from 9 to 10 years, I think.
Okay, so the
9 years since
7...
they left.
We were saying 7 for, like, most of the last week, and then it was 10 the last few days. So I'm like, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not sure.
I did the math on the time difference from when End of Rebels happened to now. It is 9 years.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, like, if they're out there in some crazy, like, conditions on Peridia, I mean, they are way up in a tower, but they also have been exploring, obviously, on the
There's
Chimera.
those local guys, too.
And they move around. So I don't think Thrawn and his men have been staying on the planet. I think that maybe because they don't want to stay in orbit and waste their fuel. If I'm thinking about this logically, or like Star Wars logically, they wouldn't stay on the Chimera in orbit anywhere to waste their fuel. I don't know. It's weird because one of the like things that was like may or may not be a leak was that there's no other, well, okay, by the end of the show we don't see any other planet. That's kind of more obvious now in that, you know, out of that galaxy. So I'm just like, you know, they have been posting up probably somewhere more safe, because as soon as Thrawn came back to Peridia, he was like, all right, this is the end game, like let's get the fuck up out of Dodge. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting the fuck up out of Dodge, I think we are going to end it there.
We end it with
That's
what?
so-
On that note, that's the end of this podcast. Thank you all so much for watching this beautiful, beautiful podcast with all these beautiful, beautiful people. Hope you enjoy all these episodes of Ahsoka that you've been watching. And episode
Been a wild ride.
8 is on
Finale.
Tuesday.
Finale.
That's the
Finale.
finale, baby. So,
Also, this
great
episode
if you want
did
to
subvert our expectations.
if you would like to get all of this, watch our podcast, get over to our Discord, leave a like, share, subscribe, all that jazz.
Please subscribe.
Subscribe to our
Subscribe.
OnlyFans.
Comment.
Really first included.
Subscribe
Subscribe.
to our OnlyFans. Make sure to get our
Remember to subscribe to our OnlyFans.
No.
I have a lot
our
of
OnlyFans.
cheese.
Yes. What?
News.
Okay, look. Here's the thing. What are these shirts called? All hail the high ground shirts. There's the Jedi beefcake shirts, and our newest addition to the party, the what color do Chiss shit t-shirts.
And if you order in the
Because
next
that
5
needs to be a thing.
And if you order in the next 5 hours, you will also
my
get the Got Giat shirt. It's like the Got Milk shirt, but it's Got Giat.
Oh my god, big god.
We should turn that into a coaster.
It's a beautiful image of Hera and Sabine on the cover.
Good night, everybody.